Hello everyone and welcome back to the Swift Academy. In today's video, we are going to talk about the system icons. System icons or SF symbols provided by Apple. They created more than 4,000 icons that we can use all of them inside our applications. Some of them just have a single color, but some of them can be multicolor. You can shape them, you can use them inside your app, you can make them bigger or smaller or whatever your app needs. And that's great, that's the power of the SwiftUI. And also they created so much icons inside the SF symbols that you can interact with them. I'm going to show you, for example, if you are going to show a signal indicator inside your app, you are not going to create, for example, 4 or 5 different icons to show you the level of the signals. It's the power of the SF symbols and the power of the SwiftUI. You can create one line of the code with one SF symbol or system icon and just passing a variable to that to creating so many beautiful icons. So please subscribe to this channel and be with me. I will show you how you can use the power of the SwiftUI fundamentally in your applications. Okay, now let's see how we can use the system icons inside our SwiftUI. So we are using the latest version, as I described from the beginning of this course. We are using the SwiftUI 4. So maybe later on we are going to have some updates on the SwiftUI icons as well. So I'm going to create another file here, under new file, just likewise SwiftUI view. I'm going to call it as the icons bootcamp. Okay, hit the create button and wait for a second. The canvas may be going to be load and everything going to be ready to go. Okay, now the canvas is loaded, the simulator. You can see the text here, hello world. We are going to use the image component, and as you can see here, we have a system name. Those system names belongs to the icons that Apple provided for us. So I'm going, for example, to call as the icon like globe. And as you can see, there is an icon here. So this icon, this name coming from the Apple SF symbols. If you are not familiar with that, let me bring up the website of the developer.apple.com SF-symbols. On each version or by each releasing of the Xcode, they are going to update the SF symbols. It is related to the iOS version, so be careful about that when you are going to use an icon. I'm going to show you in a second. But if you are going to see what kind of the icons, more than thousands of icons there, you can download the application and install it on your Mac. Then you are going to have the application called SF symbols here, SF symbols. And when you launch it, you are going to see a lot of icons here. So you are accessing to more than thousands of icons for your application, and it is so useful because if you are not a designer or you don't have any predefined icons for your application, you can use these standard sample icons and use them very actually handy. So let me show you how we can even use it and call this SF symbols application inside the Xcode. If you remember, when we open the library by clicking on this plus icon on the top right, we are going to have the library from the Xcode, but it has a lot of things inside it. The first one is the components, the next one is the modifiers, and then the completions, the codes, and etc. But the last tab, it is related to the symbols, related to all the icons that I described it to you. As you can see, the globe is already chosen here because we choose the globe here, we write it here. So if we want to have the globe icon, we can even try to look for the icons and find the right one for our application. So maybe we want to have a user icon. So I can type, for example, person. All the icons related to the person or the user will be here in the symbols library. So for example, if I want to use these icons, maybe I can just grab the name, or even I can just, for example, if I'm deleting this image and I open the library again, I want to use, for example, the person, this person and person, two person here. I can just drag and drop it here and it will be fill it up for me. And after a while, it will be showing it in the canvas. Let me bring it back to the globe here. So, but as you can see, it is a standard size right now. How we can actually manage to change the size of the system names image, that is the icons. Because they are coming from the Apple, we can use the font modifier here and change it, for example, to the title. As you can see, it is going to behave like that, going to be title. If the user choose the accessibility inside his OS to show, for example, the fonts bigger, when you define the size of the system name as the icons, for example, using the font, it will be show it accordingly to the system preferred sizes. But if you want to have more than size or our own size for the system icons, maybe we can use the frame here. We can give it a frame. For example, using the frame modifier, frame, I'm going to add it to, for example, 100 by 100 and the alignment going to be center. But as you can see, nothing happened. If I click on stop the simulator to be run and I click on that, it is showing me, okay, the frame already there, but it is not resized to that. So we have to tell the SwiftUI we want to make this system icon to be resizable. So if I choose the resizable modifier here, it will be response to that and going to shape our icon around this frame. Another nice modifier that we can actually have here, for example, if we have the height called just like as the 50, and you can see our image is kind of a squeeze. So we can use the aspect ratio here to make it as the fill inside our frame. So if I choose the aspect ratio fill, so it's not going to be happen. Yeah, it fill inside our entire frame. But if we choose fit, let's see. Okay, I have to put it the modifier on the top because remember I said the order is important inside the modifiers. So the aspect ratio after the resizable, tell the this component you have to be fit inside your frame. And what is the frame? The frame is the width of 100 and the height of 50. So it is going to be fit inside it. If I change the modifier to fill, let's see what will happen here. So as you can see, our frame is just like that, but it is now outside our frame. So in some cases we don't want to be happen, but we really want to an image or an icon to be filled. So we can use a clipped modifier to be clip the image inside our frame to not going outside of that. It's not a good idea for using the clip for the system icons, so I'm going to just remove that, but it was an option, so you can use it. The other way to add the aspect ratio as the fill or fit, we can specifically define it by saying scale to fit. If we use the scale to fit, it is acting similarly as the aspect ratio, but we just specified in just one line of the code. And similarly, we have the aspect to fill, if you can see. Likewise, it will going to act as I showed it before for you. If I want to show you one good important part of the even the system icons that introduced in the iOS 16 and above, let me bring up the SF Symbols application again. If I choose this brush and trying to putting the rendering to the multicolor, you can see that in the icons here we may have a lot of multicolor icons. I chose the multicolor icon and doing the rendering mode in the multicolor. So how we can use these icons as the multicolor? So I'm going to, for example, using this pencil crop here. As you can see, there is a bunch of colors here, but I want just the normal one. You can play with that, whatever actually used for you in your application. I'm just grabbing the copy name, grabbing the name from the app, or even you can do it from your library here by clicking on the plus. I'm going to replace the name, so I'm going to have it. I'm going to make the height here 100 again, but as you can see, it is not colorful. It is black and white. So how we can make it colorful? Just by adding another modifier on the top to saying that the rendering mode should be original. So if I add that, you can see it is reacting to the exact original icon to be colorful. So we can actually add another modifier on the top of it to make it other colors as well. Let me describe one other benefit when you are going to use the system icons. And if you see the compilation handler, when I'm going to putting a system name here, we have a variable value. This variable value reacts to some those of icons that you can interact with them. Let me bring up one example here. So I'm going to select the string name, string type in the front of the system name, Command Shift L to bring up the library. And I'm going to search, for example, for signal. We have a bunch of the icons that having the signal. Okay, maybe I'm going to choose this micro icon that has a signal around it. I have to put it inside this closure. Okay, and then as you can see, it is asking for a variable here as a double. Let me make it a little bit bigger, so I'm going to using the font as title, and I'm going to put a value here as 0.1. As you can see, the icon here is reacting to our value that we pass it here. We have 4 dots, and if I change the value to, for example, 4 now, and then continuing to increase it, 5, and then I'm going to put it as the 8, as you can see, 7, the icon responding to our variable value here. This is one of the most actually powerful SwiftUI icons that I ever seen, because you can actually interact with the icon without any hassle to create, for example, 4, 5 type of icons and trying to figure out, okay, now what kind of the icon should I put there? Let me bring up another icon to show you how it is reacting. For example, maybe we have a Wi-Fi indicator in our application. Okay, this is a Wi-Fi. At 0.7, it is fully coverage in case of the antenna. So now I'm putting at the 0.1. You can see how the icon reacting to that. I'm going to put it as the 0.5, and also if I want to have the full coverage, for example, 0.9. So that's it. That's a lot of things behind the system icons that you can actually use that and leverage it inside your application. I hope you like this video, so please subscribe to my channel and like this video. I will come up and showing you later in this series of the bootcamp how we can use the image and how we can download the image from the internet in the next session. So until then, see ya, bye bye.